Hello there, this is Andy Nicol again, the course tutor for the Perfectly Spoken Advanced course. And today we're going to look at lesson 28, which is another grammar lesson. It's again on articles, although to be fair, it's more about nouns, countable and uncountable nouns. But obviously this has an impact on use of articles and so on. So lesson 28, this is a level C1 on the Common European Framework, and those more familiar with IELTS, it's roughly 7 on the IELTS scale. And so we're going to be looking at nouns both countable and uncountable. And what can we say? Well, first of all, let's have a look at these two sentences, okay? To make it clear what we're talking about. My uncle opened a new business in the centre of town. Okay, he decided he wanted to be a bit of an entrepreneur, and he's opened a new business in the centre of town. And the second, business seems to be steadily improving. Improving, getting better and better. Steadily means bit by bit, getting better and better, improving. So, which of these sentences is business a countable noun? In which of these sentences? Well, clearly in the first sentence, in A new business is countable. We don't use the article a with uncountable nouns, whereas the second sentence, business, has no article, it's uncountable. So, what about the difference in meaning here? What do we mean in the first sentence? Pause the recording if you need time to think here. Well, what we mean is that it is a company, a particular company or commercial organisation, an enterprise if you like. Whereas in B, the uncountable noun, we refer to the activity of making, buying and or selling things for money, business, the actual activity. So, we're going to look at some other examples in a minute. There are a number of nouns which can be both countable or uncountable. There's usually a difference in meaning between the different words, and this has obviously an effect on the grammar around the word, whether we use articles or quantifiers, how many, how much, and so on. So let's have a look here at some different nouns. First one, an iron versus iron. What is an iron? Pause the recording if you need time to think here. An iron is a household appliance for smoothing out wrinkles in clothes. Iron, the uncountable noun, is a strong hard metal. I have classified this as a grammar area, but it also is vocabulary as well, so it's kind of a bit of both. So sometimes things don't neatly fit into one category or another. You could look at this as a vocabulary lesson as much as grammar, but anyway. So an iron, a household appliance, iron, a strong hard metal. So let's have a look here, which is correct. So you've got a picture there of the appliance. My flatmate hates using an iron or iron. He prefers to just wear his clothes all wrinkled. Wrinkled means not smooth, but like when they come out of the washing machine, they're wrinkled. And the answer is, of course, an iron. They're talking about the appliance here. In the second sentence, this chair's really quite heavy. Is it made of an iron or iron? Well, we're not talking about the appliance, we're talking about the metal here, and so of course it's iron. Another meaning of iron as in the countable version, an iron, is the golf club. In a set of golf clubs you have the woods, which are for driving at the start, and then you have the irons, which are for the short game, for getting the ball onto the green, the irons. So they are also countable. It's another meaning of an iron. Okay, let's move on. So you've got a heat versus heat. What do we mean by a heat? Well, a heat is, in fact, in a race or competition, the qualifying rounds. For example, in the Olympic Games, before you can get to the semi-finals or the finals, you have to go through certain elimination rounds. These are called heats. And then heat, the uncountable noun, is of course the noun from hot, the quality of being hot. Okay, so which is correct here? So you've got a liquid bubbling away there, and it says when you apply a heat or heat to the liquid, it will start to boil. It will form gas. It will go turn from liquid to gas. And the answer is heat, the uncountable noun. The second sentence, there will be a qualifying heat or qualifying heat before the semi-final. Well, of course, here, heat meaning the qualifying round is countable, so it's a qualifying heat. Qualifying heat. Okay. It's another one. A chicken versus chicken. What's the difference in meaning here between a chicken and chicken? Pause the recording and have a think, see if you know what the difference is. Well, of course, a chicken is the animal, the bird, okay, the farmyard animal, okay, a chicken, okay. It can also be an entire chicken if you go to the supermarket and you buy the whole carcass of the animal. That's a chicken. Whereas chicken is just the meat from a chicken. So here are some sentences which is correct. And there's a little chicken there for you in the picture. The first one, I'd like chicken or a chicken with chips, please. Someone in a restaurant or whatever, or making an order. Well, theoretically, both are possible. But of course, if you order the whole thing, then obviously you could be a bit greedy. It's not normal to eat a whole chicken. So normally we would just say, I'd like chicken with chips. If you say a chicken, you want to eat an entire chicken. A bit greedy, I would suggest. Okay, the next one. I'm thinking of buying chicken or buying a chicken so that I can have my own fresh eggs. It'd be very nice to be able to have some fresh boiled egg or scrambled egg in the morning. Thought about it myself actually, but they do make a lot of noise at night, so I kind of put that idea on the back burner and forgot about it. But anyway, which is it, chicken or a chicken? Well, here of course you're talking about the animal, so it's a chicken. I'm thinking of buying a chicken so that I can have my own fresh eggs. Okay, next one. An accommodation or accommodation. What's the difference between these two words? These words also are words which are often misspelt. Notice the spelling here, ACCOMMODATION. It's 2 C's and 2 M's. Okay, so here we go. An accommodation, less familiar with the two words, is an agreement between two opposing groups. When you've got two groups which really cannot agree with each other on something, and they reach some kind of agreement, some kind of a compromise, they come to an accommodation with one another. An accommodation. Whereas, of course, the uncountable noun, the one you'll be more familiar with, is a place for people to live or stay, either permanently or when you go on holiday or whatever. Accommodation, somewhere to live or stay. So here we go. So you've got a picture of a woman looking for a hotel there. You can find cheap an accommodation or cheap accommodation if you know where to look. And of course the answer is cheap accommodation. It's the uncountable noun. and also cheap would not come before an article anyway. So there's another little clue there in the sentence. The second one, if you're prepared to compromise on that point, I'm sure we can come to an accommodation or accommodation. To come to meaning to arrive at or to agree, and the answer is an accommodation, an agreement. Okay, let's move on. A coffee and coffee. What's the difference here? When would we use a coffee? Again, pause the recording if you need to think, because a coffee is, we mean a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee. We understand that it's a cup when we say it, a coffee. Can I have a coffee? And the second one, coffee, the uncountable noun, is of course the substance that you buy a jar of coffee. Coffee is the substance. So, which is correct here? Oh, sorry, wrong picture. I'd like a coffee or coffee and a croissant, please. Oh, she does have a cup of coffee in the picture. Of course, here we mean a cup of coffee, so it's countable, a coffee. I'd like a coffee and a croissant, please. And the second one, Brazil is the world's largest exporter of a coffee or coffee. Well, here we're talking about the substance made from the beans, and of course it's uncountable, so it's just coffee. Okay, moving on. Next one, a jam or jam. Well, a jam is a difficult, or sorry, I should say tricky situation, or it could be many vehicles which are stuck and aren't able to move, normally called a traffic jam. But jam can be, I'm in a bit of a jam at the moment, I'm in a bit of a difficult situation. You could have a printer jam where the paper is stuck and cannot move in the printer and so on. It's the countable version. Whereas jam, the uncountable, is the substance that we spread on our toast, usually made from fruit, strawberry jam, raspberry jam. We do tend to use the word marmalade, however, if it's made from oranges, at least in the UK. I'm not sure about the US, but we tend to call it marmalade if it's made from orange. But anyway, let's have a look. So here, there's always, is it a traffic jam or traffic jam during rush hour? Rush hour is the time when everybody's going to work or to school, or everybody's coming home from work or school, so there's more traffic on the road than usual. And the answer is a traffic jam, a jam. So it's the countable version. And the second one, I'm quite partial to jam on my toast. This is the spread, the sweet fruit spread that we put on our toast. Very good. Okay, let's move on. A land and land. Well, a land is a country or region. Okay, land of milk and honey, for example. In the Bible, land itself, the uncountable version, is the surface or part of the surface of the earth, as opposed to sea. Okay, land and sea. So which is correct here? You can see a ship there. It says, after months at sea, the sailors eventually spotted a land or land. So here they're talking about not the sea, dry land. So in fact, it's the uncountable version, land. And the second one, it was like a land or land that you might have read about in fairy tales. We're talking about a particular country or region here. A land. A land. Okay. Now we've got a noise and noise. A noise is a particular sound. For example, a noise like a vacuum cleaner or whatever, a noise. Whereas noise itself is just loud or unpleasant sound. So let's have a look at these examples to make it a little clearer. So let's just say they heard, is it a noise or noise like an owl hooting? Hooting, owl hoots, it goes toot toot, is the noise of the owl. Owl hooting coming from the tree. Is it a noise or noise? Well, of course, we're talking about a particular sound, specific one. It's a noise. They heard a noise like an owl. Is it I can't stand a noise or I can't stand noise when I'm trying to study? We're talking about loud, unpleasant sound. So here we say noise. Okay. A success versus success. What's the difference between these two? Again, as always, feel free to pause the recording if you need time to think about it. Well, a success is a person or something, an event, whatever that has been successful or that has had success. Whereas success is the achievement of an objective or a goal. Success. So here are some examples, and I'd like you to choose the best or the correct option. So you've got some children there. They are carol singers. Carols are the songs that you sing for Christmas, like Good King Wenceslas last looked down on the feast of Stephen. Okay, so you've got carol singers there who have been trying to raise money for charity, for good causes. So is it the event was a success or success and raised lots of money for charity? Well, of course, it's a success, the countable version. A success of success comes so easily to him, I don't know how he does it. Here it's the uncountable version. So success comes so easily to him, I don't know how he does it. Okay, moving on. A hair and hair. A hair is a single strand of hair. So this one you try not to confuse because it can land you in trouble. Whereas hair is the mass of hair, all of the hair on your head, usually. Okay, so which is correct here? We've got a woman, she's in a panic. Oh my God, this happened to me many years ago. Now I've got so many, I don't really care anymore. This morning I found a white hair when I looked in the mirror. Well, white hair would mean that all of her hair was white, which would be very unlikely to happen one day to the next. She saw a ghost or something. No, a white hair, a single strand of white hair. Okay? And the second one, what colour of a hair or hair has she got? Well, here we're talking about the mass of hair, all of her hair. So it's what colour of hair has she got? The uncountable version. A toast versus toast. What's the difference of meaning here? A toast and toast. Well, of course, a toast is a cultural thing, at least in this part of the world, raising your glass and drinking to someone's health at a wedding or someone's leaving the company, a celebration or of some kind. You toast, you wish someone good health and say cheers or to the bride and groom or whatever. Okay? Whereas toast is, of course, what you eat for breakfast often, at least again in the West. It's bread which has been heated and browned either under a grill or in a toaster. So here are some examples. There's a nice picture there, cheese on toast. So I'd like you to raise your glasses and make a toast or toast to the bride and groom. Of course, it's a toast. It's to wish them well and to congratulate them. Okay, on getting married. And I love toast with a little bit of melted cheese, the uncountable version. In some languages, actually, some of these words which are uncountable are countable. I know, for example, here in Spain, for example, toast is countable in Spanish. So different languages, it's different. But at least in English, it's uncountable. Okay, a vision and vision. A vision is an idea or impression of what the future is going to be like, how you would like the future to be in some cases. Whereas vision is just the ability to see or the sense of sight. So, which is correct here? First one, I have a vision of what this company could become in the years ahead. It's going to be phenomenal, fantastic, amazing. It's my view of how this company is going to progress in the future. The answer is a vision of how this company is going to be. And the second one, scientists have discovered, this is actually true, I read an article about this recently, LED lighting, as we see in the picture, is very popular at the moment because, of course, it's very energy saving. It uses much less energy than standard light bulbs. However, scientists have discovered that there are certain health effects of LED lighting. It's not good for our eyes. It's also not good for our endocrine system, for our bodies either. So kind of what's more important, our health or the environment? That's a difficult one. So anyway, scientists have discovered that vision can be drastically affected by the blue light from LED lighting, our ability to see. It badly affects our eyesight, our vision. Okay, a glass versus glass. What's the difference between a glass and glass? This one I think you'll be more familiar with. Glass, of course, is a drinking vessel made of glass. Okay, whereas glass is the material we use to make a glass and bottles and windows and other objects. Okay, so here we have, nice picture there. So I've actually been here. This is the island of Murano, which you can get to by boat from Venice, and you can still see the craftsmen blowing. Is it a glass or glass in a traditional way? Oh, here they're actually making a vase, so one of them is not correct. We're talking here about the material, not the specific object you drink out of, and the answer is glass. You could blow a glass if you are in fact making a glass, but in this case they're making a vase. Okay, and the second one, would you like a glass or glass of wine with your meal? The answer is a glass of wine with your meal. Okay. So, there are, of course, many other nouns which are both countable and uncountable. I can't go through the exhaustive list, but be aware of the fact that these exist, and obviously the implication grammatically of whether the noun is countable or uncountable with articles, etc. In the next lesson, I'm going to look at vocabulary again. This is lesson 29. Adjective and noun collocations. It says adjectives and nouns that go together. For example, we have a picture from a souk in a place called Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, and they have a wide range of rugs. The word wide, the adjective, and the word range go together. Okay, we usually say a wide range. There are other possibilities, less common ones like extensive range. It's also possible. But there are words which we don't use with range. Okay, we say a wide range of rugs. This is a collocation. So this is lesson 29. It'll be me again, of course. And so we'll be looking at different collocations, adjective, nouns, some examples, a wide range, as I've said, considerable effort. We make a considerable effort. We don't normally say huge, well, we do say huge effort, but considerable is a very common collocation with effort. Heavy traffic. Again, these are words that commonly go together. They collocate these adjectives and these nouns. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening in. It's been my pleasure again talking to you. I hope you found today's lesson useful. You can do the accompanying exercise that goes along with this to practice the countable and uncountable nouns and their meanings. And I hope that you can tune in for the next lesson on collocations. Take care, and as always, bye-bye for now.